What's going on, guys? Picking up where I left off, I'm just going to break down to you guys who are my fantasy surprises. Now, not to be confused with my fantasy ads. Those were the players that I was recommending for anybody that needs to improve their team through the waiver wire and free agency. But this is my player surprises. Guys who, to start the NBA year, have come out a lot stronger than most people expected. A lot of these there's only 3 players I'm going to be naming out to who have gotten my honor as the surprise players of the week. But these are guys who I expected to be drafted in fantasy basketball. They should be owned on a team already and are overachieving by a huge margin. And best of luck to these 3 players. I hope they're able to sustain it all year long. I, as a matter of fact, have one of them on my team, and I'll start off by giving him a shout out right now. Avery Bradley of the Boston Celtics. Avery Bradley is a player that should be owned in all leagues by now. Like, if you didn't own him, but if you did not draft him, he should be picked up, because this man's one of the best players on the Boston Celtics roster. And even though he isn't the most glamorous name like an Al Horford, Isaiah Thomas, he is someone that contributes to their team immensely on both ends of the floor. He's kind of been labeled a defensive specialist, which has kind of worked against him because people will gravitate to his reputation as being a defensive stopper, and that will overshadow the value that he's giving you as an offensive player. Avery Bradley's a knockdown three-point shooter. He's someone who has a very high percentage shooting threes. He's someone that you can't leave open on any given night. When he's got the hot hand, he's gonna fill up the box score. He's gonna be able to give you north of 15 points per game. And what's working in his benefit too right now is the fact that Marcus Smart, one of their young defensive players in their backcourt, is injured to start the year. So he's getting a boost in minutes, and he's taking full advantage. Pretty much all week he's been giving me in fantasy points, he's been giving me north of 30 fantasy points per game. And to kind of quantify that into actual real life numbers, that means that he's giving me in the ballpark of 17 to 20 points per game. He's giving me 4 to 6 rebounds per game. He's getting a couple steals here and there. He's being an overall productive player. There's not one specific area that he is not affecting right now. The next player on that list here is Miles Turner, who is the second-year big man who plays for the Indiana Pacers. He has really come out the gates really strong. I feel that is partially due to the motivation from the new coaching staff that is in place in Indiana and the new philosophy that they are now trying to implement in that organization. Indiana has for the past few years had a reputation of being a grinded out defensive team due to Frank Vogel coaching the team, and the identity of their best player, Paul George. Paul George has been a great two-way player throughout his career. He's proven to never take possessions off defensively and to often run his offense through the momentum he builds on defense. This year, they've decided to kind of shift gears a little bit and take advantage of their athleticism, which is another strength of Paul George, but not only him, the player that I'm currently discussing, Miles Turner. Miles Turner is long, 7 feet tall. He's very athletic. He runs the floor very well. And now that they have a coach in place in Nate McMillan, who is willing to kind of bring a little bit more of a West Coast style offense to the Indiana Pacers, they're now taking advantage of a big man running in transition, finding him easy plays close to the basket, and also because Miles Turner is one of these new age NBA bigs, he also possesses the ability to knock down 3-pointers. So he's often getting into pick and roll situations and pick and pop situations where he's able to set the screen and either dive to the basket for an easy 2 points, or he's able to step out and knock down 3-pointers. And with him carrying the bulk of minutes in their power forward and center positions, all he's got to do is just focus on his consistency, and he'll probably be able to sustain these numbers through a full season. The third and last player on that list I'm going to mention is Zach LaVine of the Minnesota Timberwolves. Now, this guy has been on the radar for plenty of NBA fans for a number of for the few years that he's been in the NBA. He was a highly touted draft pick out of UCLA, and he possesses, I wouldn't say Westbrook athleticism, but a lot of people are reminded of the way Westbrook is able to dominate a basketball game through his athleticism when they watch this guy play. He won the slam dunk competition last year, so you already know he could jump out the gym. He's a guard, so he possesses above average ball handling skills and decent guard skills. To that in combination with his athleticism has been making him a tantalizing player in fantasy basketball for the last number of years. This year, he now has a new coach as well as the whole entire Minnesota Timberwolves team in Tom Thibodeau, who has a reputation for overplaying his players. And this is one of those things where this is a blessing for any fantasy owner to have a coach that's going to put their player in positions to succeed. And that's exactly what Zach LaVine is in right now. He's getting north of 30 minutes per game, and being a guard, he's gonna have the ball in his hands more times than not. So it's up to him to kind of either decide to distribute or take a shot himself. And right now, he's taking a lot of shots for himself, and he's making them. So he's definitely having a good start to the NBA year. So those are my three players to keep an eye on for the rest of the year. If you have them on your team, congratulations. If you don't, I would suggest you target them in a trade because in my opinion, I don't expect them to slow down. They have all the tools, they have all the resources to keep producing like this throughout the rest of the season, and keep an eye out for them because if you